In this video, we are going to learn about vertebrates. Vertebrates are organisms that belong to the domain Eukarya and the kingdom of Animalia. They are bilaterally symmetric organisms that are multicellular. All cells are eukaryotic, and these organisms are heterotrophs that have a vertebral column. Since all vertebrates show bilateral symmetry, they are grouped under the clade of Bilatria. Bilatrians can be divided into three clades, which are Lophotrochozoa, Ecdysozoa, and Deuterostomia. Out of these three clades, Deuterostomia is the clade that includes all vertebrates, including some invertebrates. The vertebrates in turn belong to the clade Chordata that comes under the clade of Deuterostomia. All chordates show four features at least some stage of their life. These include the presence of a hollow nerve cord that is formed early during development, as well as a notochord, which is a thin rod of tissues that is formed before the nerve cord forms. In some cases, the notochord may be replaced by the vertebral column as development proceeds. Chordates also show the presence of pharyngeal slits that can also be called as pharyngeal pouches or clefts, and these are present in all vertebrate embryos. Chordates also show the presence of a post-anal tail. There are three main subphyla or clades in chordates, which include the Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. All organisms that belong to Cephalochordata or Urochordata are invertebrates. However, most chordates are actually vertebrates. Vertebrates are those chordates that have a backbone or a vertebral column. This vertebral column is usually made up of vertebrae. The main function of the vertebral column is to protect the spinal cord, which is a part of the nervous system. Vertebrates form their own group of animals and are not included in invertebrates. Vertebrates originated more than 530 million years ago from cephalochordates called as lancelets, which are invertebrates. Lancelets are these invertebrates that can move through a coordinated movement of muscles that are alongside the notochord. These muscles are serially arranged and show the evidence of segmentations, which is why they're also called as segmental muscles. These muscles usually arise from the mesoderm, where blocks of tissues are formed called as somites. And thus, vertebrates also show segmentation as part of their body patterning during development. The fossil of Hyacoela, which was found in China, shows the intermediate organism between vertebrates and invertebrates. It resembles a lancelet, but shows features of vertebrates like the presence of eyes and a brain that is normally not seen in lancelets. The first vertebrates that were formed were fish that did not have a jaw. Vertebrates share certain features that include the presence of the vertebral column. This vertebral column arises from the notochord and is present on the back part of the body. This side of the body is called as the dorsal part of the body, and hence we say that the vertebral column is present on the dorsal side of the organism. The opposite side, which is called as the belly side, is called as the ventral portion of the organism. Vertebrates also have a distinct head. This head is present in the front of the body, which is called as the anterior part of the body. The head has sensory organs like eyes and ears, and is the place where the brain is also found. While the front part of the body is called as the anterior end, the back part, which has the post-anal tail, is called as the posterior end. Vertebrates also have internal organs like the heart, liver, lungs, and other types of organs. These organs form organ systems that helps in the proper functioning of the vertebrate organism. Vertebrates also have an internal skeleton called as an endoskeleton. This endoskeleton can be made up of either cartilage or bone. One of the last features is the formation of a special set of cells called the neural crest cells that occurs during development. The neural crest cells arise from the cells that are present on the dorsal side of the neural tube. The neural tube is usually formed through the help of signals coming from the notochord, and once the neural tube is formed, the neural crest cells are formed, which can migrate to different parts of the developing embryo and form certain structures like different types of muscle and neurons. The vertebrate body shows different levels of organization. As with all living organisms, the vertebrate body is made up of cells. Different cells can come together to form tissues. Different tissues come together to form an organ. Different organs can work together to form an organ system, which is usually associated with a specific function. And different organ systems work together to finally give rise to the organism. There are many different vertebrates on Earth, and they are grouped into 5 main categories. The fish were the first vertebrates that evolved, and they gave rise to the next class of vertebrates, which were the amphibians. Amphibians then evolved to give rise to reptiles. Some reptiles evolved to give rise to birds, while other reptiles evolved to give rise to mammals. Humans belong to the mammal category. By performing molecular analyses, scientists have been able to group vertebrates into different clades. Now, all vertebrates show the presence of vertebrae, and hence any organism that has vertebrae can be grouped into 2 different clades. The first clade, which includes the earliest vertebrates, is called as cyclostomes. These are vertebrates that don't have a jaw, and some fish are grouped into this clade. The other clade are vertebrates that have a jaw. These include fish and all the other vertebrates, which include amphibians, birds, reptiles, and mammals. With this, we come to the end of our talk, where we learned about the different characteristics of chordates, as well as the origins of vertebrates. We learned about different features of vertebrates and the groups as well as clades of vertebrates.